watching Cleveland and Beyond with Andy Billman and Jared Watson. Brought to you by Evergreen Podcasts.
And we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. He's Andy Billman. I'm Jared Watson, and this podcast is brought to you by Waiting for Next Year. Check him out, original Cleveland sports reporting at waitingfornextyear.com. Also brought to you by Evergreen Podcasts. Well, everybody wants the latest news on J.J. Watt. Stay tuned, because John Clayton gave his report earlier today on who's in and who's out. Also, Von Miller or Marshawn Latimer. Are they in the cards for the Browns? I don't know. The Cavs win. No, seriously, the Cavs win! After dropping 9 straight, the Cavs finally win. They end their long losing streak with a Stevens dunk. They win by 1 point against the Hawks. And Frankie Lindor, do we miss him? Some of you might miss him a little less after you hear about his effort. The effort that he put in last season. Probably going to make you all a little bit crazy if you haven't heard about it yet. We'll get into that and discuss. But first, here's your J.J. Watt report and your Cleveland Browns.
Hello, everybody. It's been a crazy week for Jared and I, so it's good to be back. So this is hot off the presses. We're doing a show on Wednesday. John Clayton just tweeted out something 10 minutes ago. It's 6:17. It's what, 6:30? So this is the latest. People are misinterpreting what I said on radio today.
We just talked about it off air, so apparently I already know where this is going. That's great.
I said Tennessee, Green Bay, and Buffalo were the leading teams for J.J. Watt. Watt has not narrowed his list. Next note, the Cleveland Browns are still in. So are the Raiders. He has a dozen teams after him. So, to repeat, according to Mr. Clayton, take him for what it's worth. Joe, not impressed on Facebook. But by the way, thank you, Damon, for the credit. That credit goes all to Jared Watson for that great open. Tennessee, Green Bay, Buffalo are the leaders, according to John Clayton in the clubhouse. Cleveland and the Raiders are somehow circling. So they're in that B pool, we'll call it. And that's the latest about J.J. Watt.
I think when I looked at, all right, so there's things that have to happen, right? There's things that teams are going to have to do to make this work outside of, from at least the money standpoint, from outside of Tampa Bay and the Browns. As of this moment, from what I've looked at, and maybe I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, which is a possibility because I'm not necessarily the most knowledgeable when it comes to salary cap related issues and how these teams make the money work. But when you look at the available money that these teams have right now, the two teams that have money available are Tampa Bay and the Cleveland Browns. Those are the two teams that have money available, that don't have to make moves, that don't have to get rid of guys, that don't have to shuffle people around to make this happen. And when you do that, you're going to have to what? Downgrade in other positions to make that happen, to cut money in other areas. So I don't know how I feel about that, because the Bills, in my mind, they're maxed out everywhere. Where are they? Where are they going to? Why would they be high on the list? What are they going to do money? Who are they moving to make room for J.J. Watt is my question when I hear that. Do you know what I'm saying? Am I missing something here? Is there something here that I don't know about?
Yeah, I'll go a step further on this whole thing. I think right now the J.J. Watt rumor machine is pumping and going full blast. Because last week it was the Browns were the hot team along with the Packers. Now the Packers are still being listed in there as one of the top 3. And then you got listed the Browns and basically the B pool. The Raiders to me are interesting, and I'd actually earmark that one. And I agree with Mr. Watson. I think Tampa Bay, no matter what John Clayton says, Tampa Bay is always lurking because they just won a Super Bowl and they have Tom Brady, and they have been very, very cutthroat about getting players into Tampa Bay to win championships. So if they think J.J. Watt can do that, I think they'll bring him there to win a Super Bowl.
I mean, I'm going to double check, but I'm pretty sure salary cap wise, they've got
they're okay.
They've got room, 12, 15 million.
They're
compared
okay.
to the Browns with their 20, 30 million, whatever.
The Browns are one-stop plug and play. They can plug them in. They don't even have to cut anybody. Now they're going to have to. They're going to have to do it for logistical reasons, but they're plug and play. Here's what I take out of this report. This thing is open season, which I didn't know if it was going to be, but I do. There's what I take out of this whole thing from John Clayton. It's open season, meaning I thought this might be a 3-team Packers, Bucks, Browns scenario. I guess the one thing we should take out of this, which is good news, is I don't want this. The Steelers are out. The Steelers are way out, and then it makes sense anyways to begin with, because even with the Watt brothers situation, they are in cap hell, and we'll get to them in a second. Roethlisberger's now returning, but I think the bigger
another strange story.
But here's where I'm coming out on the J.J. Watt thing, so I'm going to add the new one. Where I'm coming out now is on this. Now this is my stance where I get emotional. J.J. Watt, let's say he does sign. Let's say the Titans. Okay. I really, really want, though, the Browns to figure out this Von Miller. If he gets, it sounds like he's going to be released from the Broncos. How do you get Von Miller in Cleveland? Because that also excites me just as much as J.J. Watt. A, because it's Von Miller. He's a very good player. Similar stature to J.J. Watt. I love that. And you got two alumnus from A&M and Garrett and Von Miller playing on the same line who are very friendly. And I'm starting to wonder about Von Miller, because if Garrett, I'm guessing, if Garrett's saying in there like, hey, if I don't know where we're at in all this, and if Von's really being released, I love Von. I know Von. I would love to play with Von Miller. That would excite me, Jared, just as much as J.J. Watt. It really would. I don't see any difference, and I like both those scenarios. But I will be very disappointed. I got to be honest. I will be disappointed if the Browns don't get either. I want one. I really, really want one now.
It's hard to imagine. It's hard to imagine that the Browns don't come away with either one of them. Do we want to talk about? Are we worried at all about Von Miller and the injuries that he's dealt with at all?
It's the same thing with J.J. Watt. I mean, we got to take it for what it's worth, and I mean that. Meaning in the NFL, Von Miller, because of COVID, didn't play. So that's a guy who's coming off a fresh season, ready to go, rock and roll. The Broncos are definitely rebuilding, so they're getting rid of him. I don't see a huge difference between Watt and Von Miller. I just don't. I really, really, really don't. And I see the pluses. The more I think about this, and the more I realize that I do want J.J. Watt, and I love J.J. Watt's energy, and I love his passion, and I actually like the fact that he's got a bit of a personality. I like that. All that to be said, if Von Miller becomes a guy, I'm just as excited. I know him and Garrett are friends. They're friendly. That excites me because that would give a comfort level to him. I think those two guys will play very well together.
The other issue is Von Miller is still under investigation by the Colorado, is it a police department? Is it Douglas County District Attorney? So the DA there. I'm not even familiar with the case or what the investigation's for.
Well, it's been hushed. They're not even saying they're saying it's an investigation. And at this point, what they announced a day ago is they're not even sure they're going forward with anything. So I'm not even going much further than that because
this is annoying, man.
I just think that's just a news story. And I really what I mean by that is like keep your eye on it, but there's nothing to discuss. I mean, there's nothing there so far. The DA came out in a minute yesterday. We don't have anything yet to press charges. We know this one. We know if John Dorsey was here, it wouldn't stop him. So no, we're not.
I just throw that out there. If John Dorsey was there, it wouldn't stop him.
So I just go back to this. I just want to make sure I was right on something, but I do think Von Miller is more in play than what I probably realized a week ago. So that's why I'm not freaking out about this J.J. Watt news. What I will say, though, is I am to the point I really want an opposite and pass rusher to go with Garrett. And I want it to be Von Miller or J.J. Watt. I really, really, really do. And going to J.J. Watt, the team that throws me for a loop, and I could totally see it happening, is the Raiders signing J.J. Watt. That is a Raiders-type move. That is something that the Davis, no matter if it's son or father, would always want to do. Joe from Facebook, good to have you back, Joe.
What's up, Joe?
We get Von. We take that next step, fellas. Plain simple. Our defense killed us this past year at times. I agree with you, Joe. EJ Scalata, good to see you, EJ. I saw you say hi. What if they sign them both?
I-
EJ, that's where I pump the brakes. You got to sign one or the other. You can't sign both.
Too much money, but I like that too, but too much money, which again goes to me. I know you're talking Raiders, but the Raiders don't have money either, Andy.
But the Raiders are crazy. They do things. The Raiders have a history of doing things like this.
Yeah, I guess so.
And that's why I throw it in there. Like, can
Raiders
I see?
other shit to worry about, but okay.
Yeah. And I just want to make sure I was correct. Von Miller did not play last year. I just want to make sure I was correct on that. So again, like you're coming off a guy who didn't play it down last year, is coming into Cleveland, fresh and ready to go.
Fresh legs.
I just the more and more I think about it, to Joe's point, Von Miller does make a lot of sense. If it's Von Miller or JJ Watt, I'm good. But again, Von's got to be officially released from the Broncos, which is not official yet. But it sounds like it's going to happen. It sounds like it's a foregone conclusion, to be honest, at this point. And I think either would be making sense. Now, here's the good thing, and this is where it gets good for the Browns. Not good for the Saints and not good for Lattimore, but good for the Browns. Lattimore, yeah, I agree with you, Joe. I see Joe's comment on Facebook. Either's right. Lattimore is now coming out with Cleveland cryptic tweets. Everybody can read them. By the way, this is the world of Twitter, so if anybody can figure out the zodiac of these tweets, I love these players tweeting this stuff. It's fascinating news.
It's just funny.
It's fascinating.
I mean, really,
it's fascinating. But Lattimore come to Cleveland is exciting. Now let's go down this road, because if you do this, you're going to cap struggles, but you can figure it out. If you get Lattimore, whatever that trade is, we won't debate that. Okay, they're going to trade something. Okay. And you get Von Miller. Holy fucking shit, Jared. Wow, as your defense. You got Denzel Ward, Lattimore, Von Miller, Myles Garrett, Jared. Whoa.
Yeah,
Wow.
I didn't see the cryptic tweet, but I'm seeing that.
No, he's just here.
I'm seeing that folks have talked about it. What did he say? Insinuate Cleveland Browns homecoming.
Yeah. No, he definitely been talking about that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's definitely alluding to the fact of Cleveland love, which we love anyways. But I read in between. I think there's some real truth to what Lattimore's tweeting. I'll just leave it there. Kevin Atkins, good to have you back real quick.
What's up, Kevin?
We were just discussing this. Yeah, JJ Watt. It does sound like the Raiders are more in play to what Kevin's alluding to. We talked about this, but I'll recap it for people who missed it off the top. I do think JJ Watt going to Vegas, because of the history of that organization, is not crazy. Even with them being in cap purgatory, they will make things work. The Raiders.
Well, the other thing is, why would JJ Watt want to leave the Texans and that culture, and he wants to win a Super Bowl and then go to Las Vegas? Does he really have that much of a belief that that's the team to go to? But all right, I mean, if we're going to talk about money, I didn't think that. I just didn't. If that's what he's going, okay. I just don't.
And I'll let the group decide too. I know everybody thinks Cowboys. Obviously, the Washington football team until recently, these teams just cut checks sometimes. The Raiders are not one of those teams to me. There's like 3 teams, and the Raiders are one of those teams. They just cut checks. They will cut checks and print money.
I just don't see him wanting to.
I don't see him either. But it wouldn't surprise me. I still think to what Jared was saying, I definitely think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are still in play. I really do. I think Tom Brady can make a phone call and make everything happen. Jogan on Facebook makes the secondary better right away just because of the rust, which plays into the road scheme. I completely 1,000% agree. You talk to enough GMs around the league. Secondary is a big part of this, yes. I will say this, Joe, too. You need to get pass rush. Pass rush to me is very, very important, but I'm not naive. I think Lattimore, Gilmore, Peterson are stars, and they can help this secondary a lot. Help him out a lot. Do we know how much he wants? For JJ Watt, it sounds like it's in that world of $17 million. And he definitely is going to want 3 years, 2 guaranteed. And I think Von Miller, I don't see much of a difference. I really don't.
It's probably. I could see them both being about the same. It's about the same.
What do you think about linebacker Drew Salt? Good friend of the show on Twitter. I actually think at this point, the more I read into this, and it's a long ways to go to the draft, it's either going to be that kid Collins from Tulsa, the Browns trading down, or the Browns trading that draft pick to get a guy like Lattimore. And that's what I see in the first round. The more and more I read into this, and it's a long ways to go, ask me in April, Drew. But right now, I don't think they're adding anybody in free agency for linebacker, and I'm fine with that. If you add Von Miller and you add a Lattimore, I don't care. I mean, it makes total sense to me.
Correct.
I'm not going to sit there and complain. Be nice to see Greedy play. Agree, Joe. There's been a lot of questions about him, a lot of articles about him. Time will tell.
I mean, really, with Greedy, it still comes down to you just don't. He's got an injury that you don't have answers for, and we've come to realize that. Like, you just don't know. You just don't have answers for. I mean, I've dealt with nerve issues that come and go all the time in my shoulder and in my back. You know, like, I don't know. I'm going to deal with that the rest of my life. You know,
what worries me about someone like Greedy Williams, that happened on his first play, on his first tackle in practice.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to put the guy down. That is, I'm sorry, that's alarm. That's alarm bells to me. That is alarm bells. He only played one practice, one hit, and he had that happen. By the way, Stanley, I'm looking up. I'm apologizing to admit this. I have no idea what's going on in the Cleveland State Vikings, but I know they've been playing very well. So we'll look them up and we'll talk about them for sure at one point. Drew, again, I wouldn't be with you, your guy with ND at LB, Andy. I mean, look, here's the thing about getting to Drew's comment. Right now, and I know the kid from Notre Dame's very good at linebacker. I know that. Right now, though, Von Miller and J.J. Watt are game changers, and Lattimore and Gilmore are game changers. What you've got a team. You've got the three best. You've got a team that is a contender, that has money, and it has a culture ready to win. Those three things right there should be enough to bring in everything you need in free agency. I agree. And again, these are game-changing. Von Miller and J.J. Watt are game-changing players. In my opinion, Lattimore is a game-changing player.
Yeah.
I actually think Gilmore is too. I think Peterson's that good. Like, these are name-changing. Does that mean your linebacker suffer? It does, but they will get help because of everything else around it.
I mean, we can sit here. We can go over. I mean, there's more free agents. There's more free agents to possibly look at.
Yes.
I mean, we can sit here and we can talk about, I don't know, Trey Hendrickson.
I like Trey.
Leonard Floyd.
I like Trey, but they're not these guys.
Matthew Judson. I know they're not.
Carl Lawson, that guy, is that his name from Bengals, Cincinnati?
Terrell Basham. Carl Lawson. Isn't he? I thought, didn't he get cut? By the way, isn't he a free agent right now?
Yeah. Yep.
Isn't he not free agent? Isn't he? I thought he isn't he.
Yeah, I think he's available. I think he's like here's another guy. Like there's one guy,
and he wanted to go to Cleveland. I thought that didn't he say something about coming to Cleveland too?
I don't know about that, but
I think he did.
I'm not Lawson. I'm not in love with Lawson, but here's the guy too. Like here's one other guy, but he's not coming to Cleveland because he wants too much money for too many years. And I like him. He's maybe the best player. This guy Barrett from the Buccaneers. He is a stud, but he wants a long-term Myles Garrett kind of contract, and the Browns can't do two of those. They can't. That's why Von Miller, J.J. Watt makes sense to me. Carl Lawson, right. Thank you, Craig. What did we say? I thought we said Carl Lawson. Maybe we didn't.
You just mentioned him, I thought. Yeah. Yeah,
I was going to say, if we didn't. Injury where it heals on its own, and time can't tell. I agree with you, Damian. I agree with you. 1,000%. I agree with you here too, Joe. I think linebacker is going to wait for the draft. I think that is. Well,
again, we've talked about this in the past too. The Browns have not made there has not been a linebacker, a star of star caliber on this team in 20 years.
If you get J.J. Watt, Von Miller against Myles Garrett, that alone, you now have the Chubb, Kareem Hunt backfield in your two stud pass rushers, the most important part of your team. Then you throw in a Lattimore. Now you got your offense and defense are filled with stars. Buckle the fuck up and get ready to go. And if that means you might lose a couple things you don't get, I'm okay with that because I know what they're trying to do. That's lightning in a bottle tough. Javius, good to see you, brother. Good to have you around. Drew Salt, Would love to get Matamore. I agree. And by the way, it's a great point. 2 Cleveland, Ohio State guys, too. 2 Cleveland boys.
We love that.
No, oh my God, we love it. Marvin James, another. I've heard that name too. Drew Salt firing. Boy, Drew Salt typing fast. Proud of you, Drew. He didn't get cut. He's a free agent. Got it.
That's okay.
Go. And Craig, good to have you on the show. No worry about coming in late. Kevin
What's
Atkins,
up, Craig?
Going back to Kevin, linebacker with that first pick. I agree. I think it's heading down 3 directions, and it's early, so my opinion will change 20 million times. But here's my first opinion on the drafts. I have one now. The kid out of Tulsa, trade down, or trade to get Lattimore or someone like that in. I think that's what you're looking at.
Do you draft early a guy up the middle defensively? I don't think that would bother me either.
A good D tackle, nose tackle would not bother me at all.
I really think that's a good possibility as well. Second, third round.
Yep. This team realistically ready for the next step. Thanks to Dorsey. Here, okay, Joe. Love you, Joe. Yes. However, Andrew Berry is much better than John Dorsey. And I'm happy to go down this road, but I don't know if I want to, so I'll get too passionate. And I'm very happy with this nice conversation. I don't want to raise my voice yet. I know you're going, and Dorsey did some things. Dorsey also made some mistakes. And there's some things in here. There's a touch of Sashi Brown, too, if you want to be truthful. But Andrew Berry took this ship into harbor and is pressing us through the Strait of Magellan here. He's our guy. Love Dorsey. Andrew Berry's taking this team second and third and fourth steps. That never would have happened on Dorsey. Never.
I don't want to. Oh boy, how do you say this without sounding like a? Well, look, there's a level of smarts that these guys have. I think that I don't know that a lot of other guys in front offices around the NFL have. John Dorsey's got a feel, and he's got some smarts.
Great scout, wonderful scout. I mean, look.
But there is just a level of again, that's stoicism. There's that stoic judgment that I think that Barry. I don't know what it is. I think it's because it's things, those non-tangibles that I know that I don't necessarily have personality-wise, that I can see them when I notice them. And Barry's got it.
Here's the difference. General manager has 2 jobs. You have to draft talent and be in charge of that. However, you have to manage your team. John couldn't manage this team.
That's exactly.
And he did not do a good job with that. And we can go through
the point I'm getting to.
A plethora of examples. And I like John. I enjoy John's energy. But that Duke Johnson press conference, the Freddie Kitchens hire, how he alienated people inside the building, all these different things, how he let Baker run the team. And I love Baker, but that wasn't a smart decision either. He did things to put this team in jeopardy to not win games. And you cannot do that. General manager is 2 parts here. Part A, yes, building the team and putting successful things on the field. But you have to manage this whole thing. And John never did that well.
Well, and that's where you can see that Stefanski and Barry are both on the same page with this.
Bingo.
They are exactly
Bingo.
the same.
And here's the greatest part. Everyone trusts Stefanski, including us, the fans. And that makes Andrew Berry's job easier. And kudos to the Browns to sticking with Stefanski and getting him in here. For how much Jared and I mocked, we all laughed. They were right. They were right.
Oh, we made our we did. We made all of our jokes about analytics. We were assholes about it.
But hey, they were right.
We were open-minded assholes. We were open-minded about. We were jerks about it, hoping that we were wrong. Let's be honest about it, Andy.
But we were. But a 1 or 2 weeks in, we can go back, play the tape. I slowly built. I like this guy. In fact, I believe this guy here is much more positive about the season than anybody I knew. I was like, I think we got this. I like how he talks. I like how everything's figured out. Just saying. Beat D Podesta.
Yeah, yes. Look, the D Podesta comments. I think we were tougher. Joe bringing up D Podesta on Facebook right now. We were very difficult. We were very tough on D Podesta, mainly because his ass was in California the whole fucking time.
Pandemic.
And then it worked out.
Everything.
I changed everything.
Changed everything. The pandemic really changed everything. Clowney, a free agent too. Drew Salt, I have no interest in Clowney. Do you? I have no interest in Clowney.
No, especially after the last season dealing with he has no interest in us. We have no interest in him. Bye. Tried. And that's not a knock, Drew. That's not a knock at you bringing it up. That's a knock at him. But yeah.
Farmer, Alabama. Sure. I got to read more about these draft picks to weigh in, but I watched Farmer play. He's great.
Yeah.
I hear everyone raving about the Tulsa kid Collins. I hear everyone raving. And that always catches my attention more than other things. Delpit and Harrison. I agree with you, Corey. By the way, I like your picture on Facebook, Corey. But yeah, I completely agree with you. Delpit and Harrison, that has helped out a lot. The only thing is, you got to hope Delpit is ready to go, and he should be. But you got to keep that in mind. Drew Salt again. Wouldn't be mad if we take the defensive tackle. Boy, that's what that guy just said too. Agreed. Again, I hear a lot about Collins. I don't know. I got to start reading up on it. And I will.
I want to jump down there. Craig Rodick on Facebook and his comment about the front office encouraging opinions, and you think that's a real difference than in the past. Yes. Yeah. They listen to one another, and they don't, again, it's not a room full of egos. This is the biggest thing. You can listen to other people's opinions when you're not worried about your own ego getting hurt, Craig. That's the biggest thing, is that they have enough emotional maturity within themselves and confidence within themselves to not get worked up, to not think their way is the right way or their way or the highway. And they do it in a way too, especially with the players, where when you hear people say like the best way to do things is to convince people that it's their idea to begin with. I have a feeling that's kind of the way that they can get people to do things, that they'll convince folks that ideas are their own. Yeah. That was your idea. Yeah,
hey, yeah. Harmony.
That's the kind of smarts I think we're dealing with in the front office. Maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit.
Craig, you're right. This harmony thing is new, and it's nice, and it's a well-oiled machine. Yeah. And that's why I'll mention one thing quickly that I want to get to. That's why OBJ coming back to play the Browns to me is going to be fine, because this front organization, OBJ too, and Stefanski, I think can handle it. I really do. Now, time will tell. He's got to play, and he's got to do his thing, but I really do believe in this more than I ever would in past years.
Because if it doesn't work, Andy, he's gone. It's that simple. And I'm not saying that in a way where I'm not trying to slight Odell one bit. I am not hopeful that it doesn't work out. Lord knows I defend and want that guy here more than anything, especially with the level of talent that he has and the speed that he brings on the field. And we talk about him winning that Dallas game single-handedly.
He won the Dallas game. As Joe said on Facebook, he is a stud. He is a stud. Right.
So, but that said, to answer to every single person who sits there and says that he's going to bring this problem or that he can't mesh well with Baker or that that. Look, if that's the case, I'm not worried. This ain't Freddie Kitchens trying to manage it. That shit's over with. We're not in that position anymore.
No.
It would be a blip. It would be a blip in that locker room because that's how good they've got things going right now.
By the way, for all these injuries, they were all blips. All of them were blips. Half the team was fucking out in the last game of the year against the Steelers.
Brutal.
Still won. By the way, it got worse at Pittsburgh, and they won the playoffs in Pittsburgh.
Remember that? 2 weeks in a row, back to back. Andy, do you remember when I predicted that? Do you remember when I said, wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great? Like 4 weeks early. Remember?
You
remember?
You did.
Fucking right.
Yeah. Drew Salt, the latest article on ESPN said we should trade Baker. I
saw that shit. Somebody snipped a piece of it and put it on Twitter, and I didn't even bother reading it. I kept scrolling. That's what I do with that shit.
By the way, that makes no sense. Love my old employer. It makes no sense. OJ said. Corey, is everyone on our offensive line returning? Yes. The answer is yes.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Taylor, by the way, his contract's coming up next year, I believe. So keep your eye on that. Joe, and one because of Baker, baby. That's right. Yeah. Casey, here's the thing, Joe.
Yeah, we should have beat Casey. I know,
Joe. But in that game, the Browns had opportunities to win that game. They didn't do it,
Mm.
and that's usually the slow build to the Super Bowl.
Mhm.
So it isn't an appropriate loss. It was right there. They had a moment with the ball, and then they had Chad Henning running for 14.5 yards, which will drive me crazy until the day I die. Day I die. Oh, it's just so frustrating.
What's up, Javis?
By the way, you wouldn't know there's no Browns news 30 minutes in. That's all we're talking. No one wants to talk about the drive in Lindor? Fine, let's keep going.
I mean,
don't either.
you know,
the Cavs beat the Hawks. It's fine.
it's miserable to talk about that stuff right now.
No,
I will honestly. When baseball season starts, I will be ready to talk.
I'm excited about baseball. I love tribe baseball.
Always have, always will.
I know you do too with your tribe hat on.
I know.
JVS, the best thing that happened to the Browns and Odell saga is that they won without him, which is humbled. I've heard that from a lot of people, and I do agree with you. I do agree. I think the biggest thing that also proved, which is going to be a good decision in that room, is Hollywood Higgins proving himself again too. And I think that actually was I think OBJ's one thing. I thought the way and how well Hollywood Higgins played really helped this team, his organization, and he needs to come back. I can't believe I'm saying that.
Well, and that's the thing that we're still waiting on. We're still waiting on word with what's going to happen with all. But again, we're still waiting on a lot of things. We're still waiting on.
Hey, free agency doesn't start for a while. It's going to be great here. Joe, of course the Cavs are going to win tonight. Of course they are. You'll see me on Instagram after the show. They're winning again.
You win one, you win another.
Hey, who had Lamar Stevens winning on a game-winning dunk with under 10 seconds ago to win a Cavs game this year? He went to Penn State. That was great. Lamar Stevens. We'll get to the Cavs in a second. It's going to be. I agree with you, Damian. I agree with you, Joe. I'll be watching tonight. I love the Cavs too. Oh no, Joe. I like Okoro. Give it time. I like Okoro a lot. Actually, I would give that time. Be patient with Okoro. I like him. I like how he plays defense. I like how he's very thoughtful on the floor, and he only gets better. I think he's ascending. I don't think he's plateaued. I think he's going to get better.
Well,
I really do.
Andy, let's talk about this with the Cavs. You can't evaluate any of these young kids right now. You can't do it. You can't even.
That's right, Kevin.
You can't do it with any of these kids right now, especially because you've got no Larry Nance Jr.
No.
Drummond's not on the court.
No
Kevin Love.
No.
You've got no
Delly's
size.
out.
You've got no Delly, so no backup point guard. Nothing going.
Prince has not played for 2 weeks.
Prince is not. You can't evaluate. Look, it's a mess. It's just a mess.
That's a starting lineup, possibly. I mean, it's just look. The Cavs. We can go all day long. We can go all day long on what's going on. But I will say this in fairness to Jared's comment. Right now with this team, Prince, Love, and Nance alone being out has affected them a lot. And don't get me started on Drummond because everybody knows where I stand on him. That's crazy, but whatever. We're going to do crazy. They did win last night. And boy, Dylan Windler, welcome to the NBA. Great night for Mr.
Is this
Windler.
what we're doing right now? Are we talking Cavs? Have we transitioned to the Cavs?
We'll go back
talking
to
about the Browns. Oh,
We'll go back
this
to
has kind of become our new thing. It's the new habit. This is the new
hop on.
shift back and forth.
Yeah. By the way,
Whatever.
I agree with you, Drew Salt. Joe, we're gonna bring you into the light about Okoro, brother. Okoro's really, really good. Damian, I agree with you. I would give Okoro time. I really
good one-on-one defense.
I agreed. Cutting the nuts down, Kevin. Glad you're laughing out loud. Kevin got my reference. Joe, you could say the same for Garland Sexton times. Just saying, no, I hear you. I'll say this. Garland has a longer road to go, even though he's playing the second year. But
And Sexton, we probably kind of have a better idea of who he is at this point.
We know what he is. By the way, he played a big part in him coming back.
I know.
So that was good. He is not an A player. He's a B player. And that's good. And a lot of people didn't like him. He's not bad. He's very good, actually. He's just not great or elite. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I like Sexton a lot. I want Sexton to stay in Cleveland. I like him, but we need to get him help. I like Allen a lot. Allen keeps improving, but they need a backup point guard or a point guard. I want to keep seeing Garland. Garland needs to bring the ball up more. Garland's got to develop a three-point shot, sure. But I'll say this, when the Cavs pass the ball like they did last night, that is what the results you're going to get. Their passing was wonderful last night. And look at the results. They won by a point, but they won.
Well, that's all. All you got to do is keep them in the low 110s, and you got to shoot well, and you can win the game.
Windler,
and you got to play a team with a similar record.
Yeah,
you can be right.
I want to take this comment, Joe. I'm doing a high five with you. I completely agree. They need to capitalize on this next draft or get someone in on A level. I am 1,000% behind you. I agree.
Yeah, you're right. And
to
for the
get
podcast audience, Joe's referencing the fact that the NBA, you can only be so good with a bunch of B players.
Yes, Joe's right. I didn't read it properly. Thank you for catching that for me. But yes, Joe, you're right. To Joe's point, which is on Facebook, they can't win a bunch of B players, and Joe's right. But they can't also get rid of B players right now. They need to keep the B players, and that's the long haul of this annoying process. You just can't do it because you don't have enough B players. Frankly, I don't know how many C players you have. I'm being honest. Like Dylan Windler, I'm proud of him. I like his spunkiness. Need to see more games like that. Chetty Osman's got to be more consistent. He had a better game last night. Played okay. Got to play like that night in, night out. Got to.
But Chetty Osman is never. Again, he's another one that we know who he is. He's never going to be a night in and night out guy. He's never going to be.
If I were the Cavs and someone wanted it as a juicy trade, I would trade him quick.
In a heartbeat.
I would trade him quick. Damian, but Garland's a great passer. I agree. I like his ball handling. He's a good point guard. I am still wondering if he's a starting point guard. The jury's not out on me yet. I know he's a backup point guard or a starting point guard. I don't know where I land yet. I want one more year with him. And that means at the end of this year and the next. I don't know. But I agree with you. I like him bringing up the ball compared to Sexton. Sexton makes me nervous when he brings up the ball. He just does. There's no rhythm when Sexton brings up the ball most times. Unlike last night when Sexton did bring up the ball and they won the game. But, that was one of the other times it did work out. Garland makes Allen's game easier.
There you go. There you go.
Completely
there you go.
Chetty's at every fourth game.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, every fourth game type of player.
For the early days of this podcast, oh, Chetty Osman. Oh, my God. He runs
around the court all over the place like a chicken with his head cut off.
No position, just hanging out, just running wild. One day wears a bandana, next day takes it off. His defense is deplorably bad.
There's times where genuinely, Andy, there's times where it would remind me of when, when my son was 5 years old running around on the court.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
He has been, and nothing against the guys. I know he's a nice guy. He has been one of the more overblown cast players we've had in a long time. He's not that good. He hasn't been that good since day one. I've never understood Chetty Osman.
Love you, Hayden, but
never. I talked to him about it. We got into a nice discussion. I just
Hayden loved him. Hayden, I wonder if Hayden still loves him.
Hayden, I love you.
Show. We miss Hayden.
Hayden, I love you. Good news, I can't sing like you or have hair like you. So, you win there. Back to the Brownies.
Yeah, do yourselves a favor and just ask your Alexa device to play Hayden Grove's latest album.
It sounds like me in the shower.
He's like Michael Bublé right there in your. He's just really good stuff.
Kevin, really quick. Kevin Porter Jr. has now been sent down in Houston.
Yeah.
I don't follow the Rockets, so you're not going to see him tonight.
Yeah, I heard he was tearing up the D-League. Didn't hear that.
But what does that mean? Joe.
I don't know.
It's just hard to develop them once again in the league because everyone is so damn quick. Agreed. In my own opinion, everyone is on the block. I agree with you there too.
Yeah, it's hard, especially because if you don't have the right people, if you don't have the right pieces in place at the right time, you're just wasting people's time. I mean, really, I get it. I know you're right. You're right. It's a very small window for a lot of these guys. I know.
That's why blowing up in the NBA happens way too often. It happens way too often. Keep your B players, play through this. Even when it's an 8th or 9th or 10th seed, play through it. It's been proven you can get good players in the middle of the lottery or in the middle of the draft, even if you're not in the lottery. You can get good players. What I've been proven, if you're not 1, 2, or maybe 3, there is a disparity. Corey.
I'm
Great
glad
question.
it did.
Great question.
Why are you getting to that one? I wanted to skip. I wanted to wait on Roberto Perez. I wanted to laugh at this.
The
G League. All right.
Corey.
Oh, all right.
Corey.
KPJ
Roberto
in
Perez.
the G League.
Here's the thing about Perez, Mr. Kitchen. He's got a fantastic glove, and he handles that pitching staff. So that he is the one position in this team. The batting average does not bother me. He's the only one, though. It does not bother me.
I love Salt and Pepper Perez.
His glove is fantastic, and he handles that pitching staff, so I have no problem. I understood that move.
Oh, never mind. Roberto Perez. Wrong Perez.
Right, yeah.
All over the place.
No, it's okay. But Salt and Pepper's coming back, too. He's got a minor league deal. But here's something I will also say.
Right.
Here's something else I will also say about this whole thing about the Indians. Now, God, we're just changing topics. I love this. The market's telling us what to go.
We are bouncing all over the place.
Yeah, Joe, we know Kyrie. We're not going to do Kyrie tonight, but we agree, Joe. Facebook, Kyrie screwed us all. I hope everyone knows that, Joe, on Facebook. We agree. He's doing so well in the G League, though. I agree, Damian.
Oh.
Damian's funny. But for what it's worth, though, like going back to the Brownies, Hollywood Higgins, will you be disappointed if Higgins is not signed?
Yes.
I would too.
But will you trust the move if he's not?
Will you be okay with Higgins not being in town if Lattimore and J.J. Watt or Von Miller's on your team?
Yes.
I probably would be too. What would be okay? What would be okay if all these things happen and Nick Chubb does not get re-signed to a new deal?
Ooh, what? No.
I want Nick Chubb back too. I want Nick Chubb too. First base.
Stop it. We'll get to it. We're saving the Indians. We'll talk about them later. I'm sorry, the Cleveland Baseball Club.
I got so many opinions.
Oh, and I got to talk about New Era and their stupid fucking shirts. They're fucking idiots.
Are we worried about Big Ben going back to the Steelers? All's now good in the water in Pittsburgh. Everything's healed. Ben's gonna be fine. Rooney and him taled.
Oh, I can't wait for him to go back. Good.
I can't wait.
I'm so glad he's going back for one more season.
I
I hope they win another 10 games this year too.
I think it'll be wonderful. Do you think we'll sign Von Miller or J.J. Watt, or neither, or both?
I would say 50% chance that we sign one of them.
I think we're going to sign Von Miller now.
50 to 75% chance that we sign one of them.
Yeah, I think we're going to sign Von Miller now. I do.
And I would go further and say it's okay if we don't sign either of them because I do trust the process with these guys. We will have another pass rusher in Cleveland.
And I would pull the trigger, even trade a first-round pick to get Lattimore in town.
Oh, shit.
I would do that right now.
Okay.
Come on down.
Okay.
Come on down.
Okay.
We're here to win Super Bowls.
Yeah, I know.
NFL draft, I'll take a nap on Thursday.
Yeah. Lombardi or bust.
Bye.
I know. You're right. I can't believe we're saying this.
Bye, draft.
Can't believe you're saying this, but that's where we're at right now, and you're right.
Hey, Lattimore, you want to come? First-round pick takes it.
Let's do it. You're right.
See ya.
All right.
Okay, so that's the Brownies. Keep your eye on John Clayton. He's changing his opinion.
I'm not keeping my eye on John Clayton.
I like Johnny. He's a nice man. Poor John. He had to clarify his comments on Twitter. But keep your eye on these stuff. I will say, from everything I'm reading and hearing, I don't think by Friday anything's going to change. But it's exciting.
And keep watching Twitter and keep listening to the streets and all you folks that are reading into all the tweets and finding all the clues to figure out where these guys are going, because that's fun. That's fun.
Last thing. Are you bothered by Colin Cowherd going through a list of quarterbacks in the NFL?
I don't pay attention to that asshole. He does not. I don't care about him. He's an idiot.
This gets Jared really funny.
He doesn't do anything. Like, what do you like? What? It's a shtick.
He
it's
thought
a fucking shtick. It's so lame. It's lazy.
Colin Cowherd would take Carson Wentz and Derek Carr, which is a fucking joke over Baker Mayfield. That guy is lost. I mean,
Cool.
I mean, are you kidding me? Carson Wentz.
You know what? I mean, look, it's great. Maybe one day I'll make millions of dollars to make myself sound like an asshole on fucking, syndicated television.
I sat there and
network
giggled.
television.
Like
Maybe.
Derek Carr? Come on.
Maybe one day I'll make millions to say dumb shit. Maybe.
Just want to make
like, what do you want? I don't have anything for that.
Just want to make sure you got your opinion out.
He's a fucking idiot. He's a fucking idiot. Colin, you're a fucking idiot. I get it. You get paid to do these things. Great. Congratulations.
Who's our other friend of show?
You know what? At the end of your life, you're going to get to look back and go, man, all that dumb shit I got to say my whole life. I'm so proud of it. All of it. And look at all this money I got to make saying dumb shit, and I get to take none of it with me.
He would also
all the impact I made on this world.
It's
being
insane.
A fucking troll.
If you really
like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, isn't there a point in your life where you're trying to do more than just be an asshole?
Well, how about this? How could you not challenge Carson Wentz? They couldn't trade him for a bag of balls in Philadelphia. They got a third-round pick. Nothing else is guaranteed. They only got a third-round pick for Carson Wentz, basically. Possibly a first round, depending on performance. That's it. That's nothing. And you're taking him? Oh, peace out.
He's not, but that's the thing. He's not. He's being a troll.
No.
He's being a troll.
Poor guy
it's his shtick. But again, this is where I go deeper into the psyche of it all. Into what, you have to ask yourself, like, what are you doing this for? Like, you're a grown-ass fucking man in your 50s or 60s or however old you are.
That's
like,
right.
What are you doing that for?
I don't know.
Like, why?
It's insane commentary.
At one point, you're going to look back on your life, and you're going to like assess yourself. You're going to. That's what you do. And you're going to go, "Oh, I wasted my life trolling people about Baker Mayfield." Like, come on, man.
Making silly comments.
God bless.
So
volunteer at a fucking food bank or something and get a clue.
He is wrong, by the way, too.
No shit. I mean, that's the obvious part.
Tannehill, Stafford, Carr, Wentz. Come on.
All right, I'm not being very nice, but
come on. I hope it's else okay.
By the way, boom boom, because you know where I'm from. This is boom boom bourbon. 2 fingers, delicious, delicious.
Smart water.
They age this in old maple syrup barrels.
They process this through a plastic plant.
Smart water? Oh, my wife would not approve of smart water. She does not like that brand.
That's too bad. I love it. I will be a smart water sponsor tomorrow.
Not that she approves of this either.
Real quickly to the Cavs. Great win. Lamar Stevens with the dunk. If you've not seen the highlight, you got to check it out. They needed that win. That was a very depressing 10-game stretch for the Cavs before that. They needed that one badly. Really
well, and the other thing that I wanted to talk about real quick was this Andre Drummond stuff and the latest with him and the Knicks, because they need to hurry up and get this done.
They do. The latest report, which I'm going to read right now, this is from the New York Post. It just came out this afternoon.
Okay.
The New York Post is reporting that they are really analyzing the potential trade of Andre Drummond. That's the headline. According to an NBA source who's been in touch with the Knicks, the club has made no decisions, but are analyzing whether making a play for the on-the-block Cavalier center Andre Drummond makes sense from a chemistry and winning standpoint. Now, they're not saying they're serious, but this is the latest headline, and the Post usually has merit and stuff like this in sports. They do. They usually have good people on the ground who are hearing things. So the Knicks sniffing Drummond. That is the closest thing I've seen in about 48, 72 hours. There's a Slam article on Slam magazine saying that Drummond might go to the Mavericks. We've heard that a couple times. The Raptor stuff has died and gone away. So I think at this point, I think you're looking – I got to be honest, folks. I think you're going to see Andre Drummond on this club for a while. Unless the Knicks or someone's going to pull a trigger.
Okay, so never mind. So it's not going to happen quick.
They're analyzing it.
Clearly, I didn't see any of this until you put it in the write up today. I had not stumbled upon any of it yet. No. Hey, Manny Blasdell checking in. What's up, Manny?
Good to
checking in on Facebook. Yeah.
Kevin Knox would be great. No, they're not going to give him up, but I love that trade. They're not going to give
Kevin Knox. Not going to happen.
They're actually here. Let me reference what they said in the article because it's not Kevin Knox, sadly. But here's what they would give up. They're talking about. Let me see if I put this in here. Oh, by the way, he is a Mount Vernon native, and people who are not from New York, Mount Vernon is basically almost like a suburb of New York City. So this guy is from the area. They're talking about Austin Rivers, which actually makes sense as the Cavs could use a point guard. And Frank, I can't pronounce his last name, so I won't even try to. I don't know much about him. But Austin Rivers, we are familiar with that. I got to say, Austin Rivers as a backup point guard would make sense. And that's about what you're going to get for this trade at this point. Is you're taking contract back to trade Drummond. And I'm not going to go down my road anymore. It's exhausting, and I don't want to exhaust the audience. I don't think they should have ever traded Drummond or sit him down. I don't understand it. I think it's wrong.
Should have just played the year.
However, okay, we're here now.
Let the cards fall how they may. Play the season out.
With him off the floor, the defense became a shamble on the inside. Okay, but whatever. Fuck it. What do I know?
You could have at least put a real team on the court that would have at least allowed these young kids to not flounder. Again, it just doesn't make sense. And again, Andy, I think that you and I are both on the same page when we're talking about where the blame is beginning to completely lie, where all arrows are pointing back to Kobe Altman. He is not running any of this in a way that makes any of us proud.
Kobe Altman.
It's really starting to look. Yeah, it's looking bad.
I mean, nice guy. Like hearing when he talks. I don't hear anything bad about Kobe as a person, but Kobe, it's getting bad, bud. I mean, the
locker room issues, the KPJ stuff, the sitting of Drummond, the
draft from 2 years ago. I mean, nothing against Windler, but that's one game he's played well. Garland's been up and down. I do like Garland, but he's got a long ways to go, and Porter's out, and that's what's been an important draft for this team.
Yeah, this is
just. Altman's not really done. Like Okoro, tip the cap. I like Okoro. I like what he can do. Sexton, big tip of the cap. Good job there. But and the trade for Allen, trade for Prince, cool. But this is not gelled. It's not meshed, and that's got to be talked about. I will say this to the
and you can't. And this isn't on Bickerstaff either.
Yeah,
I don't want people turning their backs on Bickerstaff because in my mind, especially if you read the write-up that Sexton wrote for the Players Tribune talking about Bickerstaff, there's no way you can blame this on him because at least these guys are rallying around and they're parroting the words of JB. They trust JB. They want to play for JB. This is not, and I really hope that it doesn't fall on him. I really do.
Well,
but it should not.
JB, that was a big one last night. That showed a lot about JB Bickerstaff. I'm going to make.
They're not quitting. It showed a lot about them too, about the players. They're not. They knew. They've talked about it. That no one is saving us. No one is saving us from ourselves. We're not getting any fucking help. No one's going to help us. We're alone. We're alone. We're alone in this, and we're fucked. Period. It's fucking. This is fucking. That's annoying. It's annoying. It's annoying.
For people wondering about Kevin Love trade news, there's nothing. He's staying here, folks. Nothing. And I'm okay with that, but there's nothing to happen with him. Nothing. 9th week being out. Hopefully next week.
Maybe they can send someone up there to rub his leg for him.
I like Kevin.
So do I. This is getting really fucking annoying, though.
JVS, I need to put you up live. This is a good comment.
Yeah, I like that one, too.
JB has done everything but lace him up. I agree with you. I like JB a lot. And Altman,
yeah,
I think Altman's having a rough run. Here's the one thing let's just do this quickly. If they decide to move on from Altman, I do want an experienced GM coming into Cleveland. I don't want another internal candidate. We need someone new, fresh blood, fresh ideas. I want someone with some experience, some Jerry West magic. I want something in there. Larry Bird, Magic. Those two are good front office guys. Like I want someone, Popovich world front office. Like I want someone in. I don't want another like Biff Stratus from the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Lower League in Canton. Like no. I want someone with some chops. I don't want Biff. I want someone who's done it. Like nothing against the Biffs. Great name from Back to the Future.
No, we like the Griffs.
Yeah, it's fine. Griff's are fine. I just don't want. Yes, Damien playing the humor. Chetty Osman trade news. Oh wait, you can't get anything for him. I believe headbands. He's supporting headbands, but they get some headbands back. And definitely defense because he doesn't play defense. So if you trade him for anything, you're gonna get defense. I'm terrified about Kobe making this next pick. Javius, I would say this. This organization's got to get its shit together. Got to get its shit together. Because they have parts and pieces now. It isn't like 2 years ago where Jared and I were saying, like, I like Colin Sexton. And I like Colin Sexton. I see some more parts here, but to Javius's point, I want this to become more of a team. It's got to be more thought of as a team. The G League. We signed some more exciting players today.
Damien on Facebook with that one thing.
I'm a Hornets fan now. Don't come back. By the way, why did the Cavs not sign Rozier?
Manny Blasdell, I'm a Hornets fan now.
Why did we not sign Rozier? Why? Great pickup, Michael Jordan. God, I've never thought that.
Why?
Clevelander. That one's frustrating. That kid's playing well. I like him. I like Rozier a lot. Can we trade Drummond for him? No? Damn it.
We can't trade Drummond for anybody, but we can sit him on our bench.
No. Do we want to talk about the latest Cavs coming to town? Broderick Thomas, Marquise Bolden. Does that excite people? Well, that's the Cavs.
Okay, can we move on to the Indians, please? I never thought I'd say that.
Let's.
Especially, I mean, we're an hour in. Let's just talk a little bit of Travis.
Lindor thought on Monday.
No, this is great. Yeah, let's talk about this. Did you hear this shit?
Oh, now it's time for me to lose my shit.
I will. You know what? Here's the funny thing. I wouldn't normally do this. I'm going to defend Lindor a little bit.
Oh, no, you're not.
I am.
That crap.
I am.
All right, I want to quote.
Get into it. Now let's get into it. Now let's
allow him. Jared's very bright and smart. He's going to say something very dumb, probably. So here we go. I didn't give my best in the weight room, and that showed last week of the season. That's Lindor. I got tired. Really? Yeah. Come on. You had the whole fucking spring off.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just got tired. I didn't give my best in the weight room. Yeah, no shit. It showed up. And it showed. Yeah, it did, Lindor.
Yeah.
It showed the last week. Yeah. That's pretty much why I came. This comment is bullshit and infuriates me. Now,
yeah.
Go.
How many years did that kid try to signal that he wanted to stay in Cleveland to the fucking Dolans?
Okay.
How long did that kid try to send fucking bat signals that he wanted to stay in Cleveland?
Oh, God damn it. No. You got to try. You got to put effort.
All right. All right. In all seriousness. If you
would have won that deal, you would have been
Andy, that's my
play hard. Get over it. You're a pro. Tough shit. Welcome to the game, bud.
That's my devil's advocate is all that is.
I can't fucking believe that guy.
You know how I feel about this. You know how I feel about this. You know how I feel about this.
He's a nice guy, but you gotta try.
I told you.
I'm not saying you didn't try.
I told you for the past 2 seasons that I didn't think he was a leader.
Unbelievable.
I told you for 2 seasons that I did not think he was a leader and that I did not think he had what it takes to step up and be a leader on that team.
Don't try.
Do you remember me saying these things?
Don't try?
Do you remember me saying those things?
Yes, you're right. Don't try. And that's all I can say. Don't try. I got tired.
There you go.
I got tired.
I told you.
I
told you he did not have what it takes. He wants to have a good time. He's Mr. Smiley. He's Mr. Smiling it up. Yeah. What color's his hair going to be this week? Yeah. Yeah, happy-go-lucky. But you know what? There was no cohesion in that. You know who came in pissed off? Carlos motherfucking Santana was the closest thing to a leader at times in that dugout. They would grab those guys and want to win those fucking games. They would grab those guys when they were down by a couple of runs and go, let's fucking go, let's win. You know what? Frankie Lindor was not doing any of that. There was no rally around and let's get this shit done and let's do what we got to do to score a couple runs, to do what we need to do to take care of this fucking pitching staff that goes in and day out, holding these teams to 1-2 runs a night. At what point did anyone in those dugouts do any of that? And Frankie Lindor should have been the guy.
Yes.
And Frankie was never that guy. And I silently sat next to you every once in a while and go, hey, Andy, shouldn't this be going on? Shouldn't Frankie, as a guy who sat in dugouts for half my life? Frankie is not a leader in the dugout, period.
Terry Francona, God bless him, trying to go out there managing a year he couldn't even manage. And because of COVID alone, he's high risk. Then you got Carlos Carrasco, who's trying to battle cancer, giving everything he's got in his arm. Karinchak's eating his glove in the mound. And your big thing is like, I don't think I lifted weights enough.
Yeah.
Enjoy. I like Frankie. Nothing against him. I've heard very positive things about him as a person.
Sure.
But you know what? Enjoy it.
Sure.
You wait till you go 0 for 4 in a big game against the Braves.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
That's all right. I'm having a good time. I'm having a good time playing a kid's game.
That's
what Frankie is.
Infuriating me.
You can't help but be in a good mood when you're around Frankie. That's what Frankie's been the entire time he's been in Cleveland.
I'm done.
You can't help but be in a good mood when you're around Frankie. That's what he was the whole time he was in Cleveland.
I want to talk about college basketball. I'm done.
I told you that's what he was. I told you.
You're right. I was wrong. You're right.
Yes, first base. Here we go. Finally. I'm sorry, Damien. It's going to be Johnson. Johnson will be at first base. Bobby Bradley. That's what I meant. Bobby Bradley. Why was I
Bobby Bradley is going to be
there. What
the
hell is wrong with me?
And I'm hearing
Where the fuck did I get Johnson?
I'm hearing more and more about Bobby Bradley, and the Jake Bauer stuff has stopped. Nothing against Jake Bauer.
Bobby Bradley. Thanks. It'll be Bobby Bradley.
Yeah.
Where was I getting? Where was I getting?
Daniel Johnson. By the way, the latest report I saw from the Athletic, Zach Maisel. It sounds like I heard the reports about Luplo, Rosario, and
Bobby Bradley. Bobby Bradley.
Well, no, I'm talking about your outfield. But no, Bobby Bradley should be your first baseman.
Yes.
And that doesn't mean it's going to be great. I'm just saying I think you got to see what happens. And I'll say this.
No, he's like Joe Buchanan at the curveball.
Yeah, whatever. Fine. Here's the thing. And we'll have Mets shortstops. They'll play everywhere. Rosario's going to play the outfield. He's going to be DH. He's going to be everywhere. There
is some weird stuff there. Yeah. Rosario's going to be your he doesn't realize it yet, but he's going to be Rosario's going to be
Mike Freeman.
Freeman too. Ah! Yes.
You'll love it here.
We didn't plan that.
I love it. I hope you're doing well. I love the tribe. I love Bobby D. I love all you guys. Yes. I'll be rooting for you every game. And you know what? In a way, I have now passed the Lindor. I'm divorced. Take care. Enjoy New York. I will say that's a hard out. Hard out, bro. Take care. Best of luck. Are you excited about Ohio State basketball, even though they can't beat Michigan in basketball in a big game?
All right. The only reason that I'm bummed about that game is because that's the game I chose to begin watching college basketball this season. It was a bummer to watch because in the second half, early mid-second half, the Cavs. The Buckeyes had some really unfortunate turnover issues where they ended up dropping their 5-point lead and then could never come back from it, even after the team up north was struggling with some free throws. Still, nonetheless, the Buckeyes hung in there and kept it close down the wire. I mean, of course, it was that painful last, 2 minutes of basketball that lasted 3.5 hours, but it was a good game. And no, I'm not worried about it. I'm really dragging out this explanation. Long story short, no, I'm not worried about it.
Why don't you worry about it, Jared?
Clearly, Team Up North is at the moment better. They're just a better basketball team.
They're very good.
But that said,
who's the football school?
They yeah. We had this conversation too. This is where I say the Team Up North. The sooner that they realize that they're more of a basketball school, the better their fans would be. The better off they'd be. They'd eliminate a lot of heartache for them.
I'm gonna give a neutral opinion. I thought the Michigan Ohio State game was wonderful. It was one of the best games I saw. It was wonderful.
All year, even wonderful. Commentator
Michigan
said the same thing. It was a good game.
One of the best games I've seen all year. I've been watching a lot of college basketball. That really sticks out. That game, there was a couple other games that really stick out, but that one in particular was so sharp. It was so good.
Mm-hmm.
The passing for Michigan's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Juwan Howard, smartest thing he ever did is hiring Phil Martelli.
Oh,
very, very smart.
I can't say enough. Look, I'll say this. I would have never guessed. Juwan Howard is an unbelievable coach.
Great job.
And has an unreal presence.
Yep.
On that court with those kids.
They're sharp.
They are. Good. He's the perfect fit.
Yep.
Juwan Howard just is the right guy at the right time in the right place for that team.
Yep.
Good for them. Good for them. I'm complimenting. I don't care. That's the right way to go.
There's a big gap between Michigan and the other teams. Illinois had a bad loss last night to Michigan State. And so, there's a gap. But these
said, though, Ohio State shooting wise, on a good night shooting wise, they can beat Michigan.
Ohio State can shoot with anybody. The difference is in this game I saw too, and I saw with Michigan and many times. Like the turnovers. Well, the turnovers is one.
Oh, and rebounds.
You knew I was going to say that. Big time rebounds at big spots.
Yeah.
In Michigan, they're even better than Gonzaga and Baylor. They are the best passing team in college basketball. Michigan passes the ball so well and so crisp. If you just breathe wrong, bang, it's going to be a layup. Bang, it's going to be a three. They really, really play well. They're going to be tough. All that to be said, the Big Ten tournament is going to be exciting. My Boilermakers are going to be there. I'm excited about them. I would take them in the tournament. They're going to be a 5th or 4th seed. They're going to be dangerous. They beat Jared's Buckeyes twice this year. And I like Illinois a lot. I like Iowa a lot. It's a fun Big Ten. It's a great time to be a Big Ten fan. I know it's not football. This basketball in this league this year has been really, really good. I just want to emphasize that, and then we'll do Tiger and then we're done. I just want to emphasize that the Big Ten basketball this year has been out the roof good. It's been a wonderful league to watch.
Yeah, I'm glad I started. I'm glad I started watching. I will say this, Andy. I've really struggled with seeing schedules and having schedules pop up. I even I had to set a reminder in my phone for even when tip off was going to be for this game. So I feel like I'm just missing stuff.
The pandemic.
I just remember always having everything at the tip of my fingers. With Ohio State basketball, and now I feel like I've got to search for everything. I used to feel like I would put stuff on; it was always on. Like there they are on CBS, there they are on the weekends, and now I'm looking. I'm like, where the fuck are the Buckeyes?
That's true. I'll tell you this: the pandemic of not having local reporters on the beat on site. That's
probably a big part of it. Yep.
That's the big difference.
Yep.
It has been a huge difference this year.
David says Boilermakers finna lose.
Who won the last two matchups?
Hey, JB
Love you, Damien.
says
Love
before we got JB, I wanted Juwan Howard.
Juwan's really good.
Well, the problem with that is we already went the college coach route and we screwed that up. So
how'd that work out?
That's why obviously Juwan not the same.
By the way, I was wrong about that Michigan man. Boy, that did not work out.
I know.
And he hasn't got another job. Okay, couple more tidbits. I know Shane Bieber's back. He's feeling better. I'm excited about that. Hopefully he's gonna be ready to go. I'm excited about McKenzie.
Yeah,
too.
he's over. He clearly got over COVID in a week.
Very quickly. So I'm glad to hear that. I like Shane a lot. He did mention that he wants to get a contract extension. We'll see. And then Francona did his address. He really wants to move on, which I think it was the proper message at the top of his presser. He wants to move forward. He wants to move on and get on to things. He's excited about Rosario. And again, we talked about those other debatable things. So we'll get to there. Tiger Woods to me is very, very sad, obviously, like everybody else is saying. It's movie-like sad. I just hope he's doing okay. And I don't want to elaborate on anything else because right now that man's going through a life-changing experience for the second time in 15 years. That's just so dramatic. And then, you just hate to see it because after everything you've been through, but the one news that came out today, he was not drunk. I'm not seeing any toxicology reports, but a report came out he was not drunk. They tested for that, so that's been made clear. So, I just hope Tiger's doing okay. It's pretty clear a lot of things are going to be changing, and I won't allude to anything else because I'm not a doctor and I'm not Tiger Woods. But it just was a very, very movie-like scene on Tuesday.
Yeah,
very, very
it popped up out of nowhere, and I messaged you as soon as it came up on the screen.
Yeah.
And the overhead shots of the vehicle were, made you nervous because you didn't have, you had the initial reports, but you didn't know exactly what had happened. Later on that evening, you got the Tiger Woods statement from his people, and you knew he was going to be okay, but you knew that he is going to have a long road ahead. The injuries in his leg, lower extremities, these are injuries that are going to be, they're extensive to the point where he's going to have his issues.
As a dad and as an adult, he's going to have some.
Yeah. Plates in the legs, all that stuff. I mean, this is no different from, I've seen it. I've seen it recently.
Yeah.
And you just hope that he mends up and does his physical therapy and those rehab stints and all that good stuff for his body, and they work out the best they can, and that he finds enjoyment in his life, because that when you spend your life playing a sport like that, you dedicate your life to that sport. And I mean, look how hard he fought to come back and play. And what was it, 2019 when he won the green jacket again?
It was not the pandemic year, 2019.
I mean, my God.
Yeah.
So this was a guy who fought his ass off to get it back. And
really hustled. Really hustled.
Yeah, you can only imagine. So
yeah. Well, like I said, there's gonna be more reports to come, obviously, but Jared had all the fine points. I hope the Cavs win tonight, obviously. It was exciting to see them win. They needed that win. The Browns news, everybody keep their pulse on it. I'm starting to become more of a Von Miller believer now. I think he's going to be the guy coming to Cleveland. I'm fascinated by this Lattimore stuff. Fascinated. This is much more fascinating to me than Richard Sherman stuff ever was. And then the last thought is, with whatever it's going on, the great thing is with the Browns, it's all exciting and it's all positive, and I like that. It isn't life or death. Like, we're not freaking out about J.J. Watt. We're not freaking out about Von Miller. We're not freaking out about all this stuff because we know we have a good team.
No, it's fun.
And it's very, very fun. And in free agency, when we were adding stuff and it's not life or death, we don't get anything. Time for Cavs basketball.
Hey, shoot us an email, Andy and Jared at gmail.com. Andy and Jared, Jarid at gmail.com. Check out the new website, clevelandandbeyond.net. All updated, brand new. Oh, check it out. It's all sexy and stuff. Who made that new website? I did. Check it out. Also, follow us on Twitter at CLE and Beyond. And after this Cavs game tonight, at Official Cleveland Sports. At Official Cleveland Sports, Andy will be there to celebrate the Cavs winning 2 in a row. So,
ooh, cocky. Congrats to Dean Wade. He got a new contract and he's starting again tonight. Congrats to him.
Good for him.
Big game for the Boilermakers this week. I won't do any analysis on that because Jared will tune me out. And then finally, I am generally I can't even talk.
Genitally.
I will end up talking. Fuck it. Good night. Hi.
Oh, I was going to add one more thing. Apologies for the kind of slow and slightly off kilter schedule that Andy and I have been on. Andy and I have been working our asses off on a couple of other projects. I have also been adjusting our own stuff here with Cleveland and Beyond.
Some family stuff.
Yeah, sprinkling some family stuff on top of that as well. So we're juggling a few things. And one of those things is to improve this show. And obviously you saw tonight, if you tuned in at the beginning, there's like a new intro and stuff for the live show. Folks listening to the podcast, nothing's really changing. But for some of the social media aspects and some of the other stuff, you're going to see some changes. and some more engagement and stuff like that. So just stay tuned for some of that, and bear with us as those changes go on, because it might get a little wonky. But we appreciate you sticking by, and we'd also appreciate you leaving your what do you call that when you rate a show and do all that stuff? Your own reviews,
Rating.
your evaluations, your ratings. Go ahead and do that for us on iTunes if you would. We appreciate it. We love you, and thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening.
Damian, Joe, Javius, Drew Salt, all you guys, thank you. Great job tonight. Corey,
Craig,
I don't want to miss anybody.
EJ,
EJ.
You said
Craig, Joe, all you guys, great job.
Stanley,
Love you.
Kevin.
Kevin, tomorrow night, Holly and I set the edge. Next Monday, I know it will be Mondays because I have a busy week. So Monday back to Cleveland and Beyond. Wednesday for Holly as well. Manny Blaslow, great to see you too. Go Cavs. Let's win this game. Let's beat the Rockets.
Take care, everybody. Talk soon. I'm going to go eat dinner. Bye.
Ooh.
What was that noise?